Mr. Chairman, the four nominees for the Amtrak board will be asked the same questions by maybe several of us. I appreciate that Senator Cantwell and you both expressed your strong support for long-distance passenger rail service, and I am here to do the same. More importantly, I'm here to make sure that the nominees understand what they just answered in Senator Cantwell's question about their commitment to long-distance service. I thank all of our nominees for their interest in serving. I wish the Inspector General, if confirmed success, an Inspector General is a hugely important component of how Congress does and should do its job, and I want you to do it well. And let me begin with Ms. Feinberg and Mayor Coos. I've experienced what I think, at least, is an attitude in prior times at Amtrak on a bias against, or at least not in favor of, long-distance passenger service. What I would describe as a bias against service that can't make a profit on its own. My view is that Amtrak is designed to provide long-distance service across the country. The metrics of whether or not it should exist is not whether or not it is profitable. We have a nationwide system designed to make certain that that service is available to all Americans with geographic dispersity across our country. The previous nominees to the Amtrak board have received my vote in this committee, but also received me placing a hold on their nominations before the Senate could consider them. And that would be a similar circumstance for me in this circumstance. I want to let me take a step back and indicate that at various points in my time in the Senate, I've seen where the Southwest Chief, which runs through 3 states of members of this committee, Colorado, New Mexico, and Kansas, has been in the crosshairs of Amtrak. And it is, in my view, only through our engagement and intrusion that significant improvements are now being made on the Southwest Chief with a commitment of its future longevity. But now with COVID, there is an opportunity and perhaps an excuse for the diminution of service, which I understand. What I'm concerned about is the return of the service. And I want to make certain that responding to the challenges, financial and otherwise, of COVID pandemic is not used as an excuse to now terminate or significantly reduce, where it no longer is viable, long-distance service on the Southwest Chief and other long-distance routes. And so one of the things that I understand from Amtrak is that they have criteria by which they would determine whether to restore additional funding for long-distance service. One of those is whether or not the ridership levels in the first quarter of FY21 is within 90% of the Amtrak's projected numbers. That requires me to have a lot of faith in the projections of Amtrak so that something less than what you project doesn't automatically become an explanation for why we no longer can support long-distance passenger service. So Sarah, or Ms. Feinberg and Mayor Coons, would you tell me again perhaps what you've already said, and then I will ask you to respond to me in writing so that I don't have to delay your confirmation on the Senate floor, your commitment to long-distance service, and assure me that if you are a member of the Amtrak board, that you will not look for the excuse that COVID-19 might present for the elimination or significant further reduction of that service. In other words, we struggle with maintaining our service for the needs on a daily basis, and now with reduced service, I think ridership is going to be less viable, not more viable. And so a criteria that the Amtrak is creating is making it more difficult in my mind to see that Amtrak is on a path to restoration of service. What would you like to assure me about? Ms. Feinberg?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Senator, you have my commitment, as I mentioned earlier, and you'll have my commitment in writing as well. I understand that these are incredibly important services that we provide to rural communities and also to just states that need the service, and to Americans who want to take a train instead of a car or a plane. Look, you know, I'm from West Virginia where there is an airport, but the Amtrak service there, just like it does in many other states, is, you know, similar to air service. It is one of the few ways that, you know, folks can get where they're going other than using their own cars. So, you have my commitment. I'm happy to work with you and with your staff as we contemplate the future. And I know this is very important to you and to Senator Gardner and others. Happy to work with you.
Thank you very much. Senator, Mr. Coos.
Senator Moran, in your comments, I would posit that there is no transportation system in the United States that is not heavily subsidized by federal and state dollars. And so to hold Amtrak to a different standard, I think is unfair. The Texas Eagle comes through my community, and I see the people getting on and off daily, and the ridership level on that train is important to my community, and I think it's important to a lot of smaller communities throughout the United States that don't have airports and maybe don't have an interstate, but they do have train service. And I think that is a critical amenity for our communities. First quarter fiscal year 21 seems to me like a tenuous benchmark, because I don't know where we're going to be in the first quarter of 21 with COVID-19. I think we have to recognize the mood of the country and people's willingness to trust public transportation again in a post-COVID world. And that is the metric that I would use to judge the viability of the long distance routes. I will indeed pledge to you in writing my support for the long distance trains.
Thank you, Mayor. Both of you, I appreciate your answers. And we have been through this issue with Amtrak now for more than a year, the senators from those 3 states. We actually thought we had things back on track, and COVID, of course, creates new challenges. And I appreciate what you had to say, and we'll follow through with you. Mayor, I don't know the geography well enough of Illinois, but the Southwest Chief generally originates in Chicago on its way to Los Angeles. And so this is not just an important issue for the 3 states I mentioned. It's a long-distance route that involves your home state as well. Thank you.